Okay. Awesome. Our next speaker is an 8-figure wholesale seller. He's the founder of Just a Seller. You know, it's really easy to get negative in the business realm. We all know that positivity is how you keep going. That's what I've been really impressed with, the resilience of those that I've talked to here today. I see very resilient entrepreneurs who are always finding a new thing, a new technique to overcome, to continue on, to carry on. Our next speaker is here to talk to us about how wholesale's not, in fact, dead. It's just about doing it right, scaling it right. It's about being resilient. And that speaker is Charles Chakkalo.
Thank you very much, everybody. That's me. I look like that guy. And when I was asked to present here, I was thinking, what can I tell a group of people who understand me? Because that's the feeling I get. When I'm here, I feel like everyone gets it. A little bit about me, and the reason why I'm looking for that sort of reciprocity with you guys, you'll see exactly why. A little bit about myself. I attend up to 20 or 30 Amazon shows per year. I present at them too, but none are as fun as a room full of people who just get it. There's a whole lot out there when it comes to private label, mergers, acquisitions, things like that. But very few people who understand what it means to be one of those guys. A journey back. I've been reselling on Amazon for 15 years. I'm only 29, which means I started as a freshman in high school. We started doing that. By we, I mean my brothers who are actually working while I'm here on the stage. And this is the first trailer we ever did. We loaded up 26 pallets in this trailer, and it was a gratifying feeling enough that we took that picture, and the smiles are as big as they are. So we went from a room in a basement to the whole basement to a storefront, and thankfully now to 2 warehouses. Both warehouses have about 11 employees at this point. I am a paralegal by training, so there's that litigation bug in me. And being in the space as long as I have, I got really aggravated that everyone who wants to put out content wants to get you on a discovery call and wants to book you on a Calendly. I mean, no shame to those people out there, but I just wanted to put content out there of what it's like to sell, to be a seller. So I send out a newsletter called Just the Seller, and in all of my free time, I absolutely love politics. So you won't get any of that today, but that's a little bit about me. Understandably, resale, retail arbitrage, wholesale, it's at a crossroads. You have Gruns doing great nowadays, direct to consumer, building their own brand, their own identity, their own audiences. You have Mary Ruth's, who's actually a friend of mine in my mastermind, killing it. 3 years ago at a conference, they were asking questions of what is an ASIN instead of how do I scale my brand. It feels like we're at this ticking time bomb, that we're up against Amazon's big administrative hand waiting to come down on resellers. But let me take you back. 2023, our manufacturer, who manufactured 75% of our catalog, cut us off. We needed to make a transition. We needed to make more money. 75% of our catalog is existential. We were faced with an opportunity. We could have doubled our capacity. The processing capacity we had was limited to 1 unit in a storefront. Before I get back to this story, I want to make a definition straight. Throughout this presentation, you'll hear me say either resale, retail arbitrage, wholesale. I primarily mean wholesale, but for technical prowess, I'm going to stick with that. This is the world that we're facing. This newsletter went out yesterday. Yesterday. We're roaches? Last session, Rob Hahn was just there. I did a debate with him last week on Prosper too. That was also a fun one. Back to my warehouse story. We already had the operation. All we needed to do was scale it. We operated through our own warehouses. We operated our own storage, shipping, employment, handling. The formula worked. The 75% of my catalog that went down is replaceable. We had the formula, we needed to source it. So we made that investment into wholesale. This year, and these are the numbers that my company is showing. No, I don't do this for other people. No, I don't handle inventory for other people. This is a simple wholesale model that you're looking at right now for this year. Why? Because I decided to invest in myself, my control, my warehouse, my operations, my company operations and partnerships, all of which is just directed by yourself. You are retaining the control you have in your facilities, right? Particularly in the retail arbitrage space, this is what it was. And again, I'm using those three interchangeably between arbitrage, wholesale, resale. What you will see is the increase in inventory and funds withheld. And that is what some people will call the writing on the wall. The writing on the wall being, sometimes people would say, get out of it. This is not the future. The future is authorized reselling. The future is letters of authorization. The future is going to a brokerage, being bought, sold, vetted, and eventually exiting for multiples that you can never dream of. That's not what these numbers are showing. So you have paths forward that you can take. You can go RA heavy, OA heavy. You could go all in on a private label brand or a hybrid. The first have these pros that you see beyond it. I mean, it worked for me, not to say it was easy. And it's still not easy. My account health dashboard will give instant heart attacks to most of the Amazon seller community outside of this room. But it's doable. And I'm coming back to the same message I began with. I retain control. I don't outsource to 3PLs. I rarely outsource to other agencies having to do with my creatives, ad strategy. My entire ads platform is outsourced, but the strategy is directed by one person alone. But you're coming down to the question of, does RA have a limited runway? Right now, if you go ahead and ask Perplexity, can I walk into Walgreens, resell Colgate toothpaste? Perplexity will tell you, no, you have to be authorized with an Amazon's brand registry. That's not true. But even Perplexity, through their prediction algorithm, thinks that it's so. Personally, I don't think the writing is on the wall. I think arbitrage, however you define it, is here to stay. There are gaps in every company and every brand distribution's supply chain where arbitrage can fill in that gap. As long as your goods are genuine, they benefit, you benefit, the customer benefits. So again, it's not dead. My lens on success, what a successful company is, I narrowed it down to three things. Making your stable cash flow, lowering your risk. Again, given that your compliance, your documentation, your education, your networking, your exposure like you are here, you have your mitigated risk. Amazon's not going anywhere. Amazon is there and, to me, only has room for growth. Another thing that you're collecting, each and every one of you, whether you know it or not, is customer data. Amazon doesn't want to give you the data, but there are ways for you to get that data. With that, you have plenty of more opportunity to remarket to these people if done correctly, compliantly, and legally. Think about it. If everyone were to drop their arbitrage model and go for the private label model, Everything is commoditized in some way. Bumblebee tuna is literally the same tuna that Costco packages themselves. What if you go back to the beginning slides where Grunes and Mary Ruth were taking into the supplements and the supplements and gummy category? What, do you think every supplement is exactly this much of a potential formula than another one? They're not. They all have the same multivitamins, maybe a different kind of composition, a slight alteration. Maybe this one has fruit while the other one just has gluten. Whatever it is, it's not necessarily the case. Everything is commoditized. What most of you know in this room that others don't. Let's say you walk into that Walgreens, you buy that Colgate toothpaste. You want a list on a 2-pack, 3-pack, 7-pack ASIN. You have to repackage those goods in a poly bag. Use an item label. Make sure that if you have employees, they label it the right way and situate it in a way where when it gets to the end customer, they end up with what they ordered. Not if the customer orders a 3-pack and they only received 1 tube, you know what the repercussions of that are. It's complex, and you guys are able to figure it out. These private label people cannot. The people who want to outsource it to all these other 3PLs who claim that they can get goods into Amazon in under 3 seconds, that's not what we're built for. We're built for control. And when you have control, you're able to scale things that you're comfortable with to fit your dreams. Remember that warehouse? This year, I couldn't afford a forklift operator. And that's me. So this is what retail arbitrage can get you, wholesale, and yeah, you'll be able to do that. We do this once every 10 days out of 2 locations throughout New York. And to answer, I think it was Dan's question earlier, whether we want to do it in-house or get a 3PL. Let me go back. AV team, I'm going to ask you to pull. Okay, no, that's fine. That's fine. So let me tell you something. How quickly can I adjust if this ASIN, whatever is on that pallet, goes down? It's simple. I just don't put it in the truck that day. How quickly would any person who outsources everything to a 3PL be able to say, don't ship that out, that page just got dogged? That ASIN just went down. That ASIN was just merged with a different ASIN. You can't say that. You can't do that. As far as you know, you paid for the processing, prep, shipping, straight to FBA already. You're the one in control. And it's up to you to stay in as much control as possible. Your action items so far. You are more than capable. You are here. You took the time out. You invested in a ticket, the day, learning, sitting here. And I thank you for that attention you afford me. You can scale the team on your own. It's a different skill set, and I'll get to that in a minute. As long as you have maximal control over what your operations are, and you're not listening to these other gurus who are saying, yeah, just 3PL it and you could be a digital nomad and live in Barbados and not worry about anything back here in the States. No. You need control, and it's not a completely passive, hands-off kind of thing. Control is so important that Amazon doesn't even want to make money off of it anymore. From you. You will need to own this whether you like it or not. So getting a grip on your product, your operations, your processes, the sooner the better, because once January rolls around, there's going to be a whole pool of people that need to be playing catch up, and right now, given that it's October 15, you're ahead of the game. So remember that time bomb? If you follow those steps of narrowing your processes, you're able to maximize your control. And now you have product prep nailed down. That ticking time bomb that presumably says that arbitrage is over goes away. You have the formula. You scale that. The different skill set I was telling you about, You're going to have to deal with people, employment, HR, workers' compensation. Routinely, I know when it's a good weather day, especially in the summer, the same employee can have 3 dads and 4 moms that decide to die because there's nice weather outside and they need to take the day off. The lateness, the bus was late, the this, the that. Yeah, I mean, you deal with that, but you know what? You guys are operators, you're business owners. You're there for the American grind. And that's what it is. You build a business. And frankly, you should know the grit of how a business runs. Because you are business owners, and if you're not going to be the one dealing with the 3 parents dying on the nice sunny day, someone else will, and you know what? That's actually incorporated into your margins, because whoever's taking care of your labor will have to deal with it. Better that you have the first-hand knowledge yourself at some point. But Charles, how do I deal with everything that comes along with it? I don't have the head for this. My job is to sell product on Amazon. Well, I use these softwares. I'm not going to get into all of them, but I'll show you how you can access this in a minute. This is my tech stack for now. Now, a lot of people got a kick out of this one. The headaches I was telling you about, the workers' compensation, lateness, parents dying, whatever it is, let me take you back to COVID. I was sleeping in the warehouse. You know, it was a crazy day to be an Amazon seller. I got a call from the New York Department of Health, Employment, Hygiene, and Human Rights. And they go, Charles, we're getting a report from your employee that you don't allow masks to be worn on the job. I said, what? Someone wants to wear a mask and I'm not allowing them? What are you talking about? I said, all right, let me call you back. And they wanted to schedule a hearing and all this stuff. And I said, all right, let's go to this guy, Kenneth. This is the guy who's making issues for me. I said, let me go back, right? Okay, so see that one in the purple? That's called home base. That's what I use for clock in, clock out. The way it works is you put in your PIN that's specific to you, so you can clock in and clock out of the shift, and then it takes a picture of you when you clock out. So when he clocked out, I won the case. Because he was wearing a mask when he was clocking out. He surely didn't put it on to leave, right? An effective tech stack can not only defend that kind of liability against me, God knows where that could have led. Gusto is what I use for payroll. Gusto is a technology company that does payroll so well that my dad, who's been in retail for 45 years, right now, the way he runs payroll is he faxes the amount of hours worked per employee to a company, and a company actually sends a personal messenger to deliver the paychecks to the retail location. Gusto takes care of my tax compliance for my international VA, which I didn't even know needs to fill out an IRS form W8EN. They took care of that. It's $40 a month. Everything is on direct deposit. My employees have access to their direct deposit 3 days early without any cost to me, and health insurance. And I got invited to speak at their conference, and this was their office. It was really cool. Some other tips that I wanted to help you out on, because I know what it's like to grind, and I just wanted to share it with you. Everyone knows what payment terms are like. You want to get interest on your money, because why not? It's sitting there and your bank is making money on it. Watch this. Ramp is a bank that gives you 3.95% on your money right now that's sitting there. And if you initiate your ACH payments from there, you get the free same-day ACHs. You also get free international wires. You also get free domestic wires. Why is that important? The longer you have your money sitting in your interest-bearing account, the more control you have, the more transactions you have, and the more interest you get. Why not? Why would you pay a different company to take 3 to 5 days to deliver your funds while they make the interest on the money? Also, when you're dealing with international vendors, you don't want to nickel and dime every wiring fee that comes their way. You don't want to overlook, though, by going completely online banking, that you'll lose your brick and mortar presence. There's a chase on every. There's a chase in this damn parking lot. I mean, if something goes wrong, you're going to want the ability to walk into a brick and mortar location and say, hey, there's something wrong with my account, fix it. So don't overlook that. The credit card game, a very overrated game and a game that I play frequently, but overrated. Sure, you could transfer out 10x points per dollar, but to play that game is too much of my brain power. I would much rather get 2.5 or 2 times back on my money, but I do play that game. Just be mindful of your brain power. Don't get too hung up on that. So that's warehousing. That's our life between arbitrage and not. Last but not least, the way I got to that point, from a room in a basement, from buying those cookies and buying the pizza bagels, was through constant learning and networking. Just this. I wouldn't even know where to start on filling out an IRS form W8EN. I wouldn't know that Gusto exists. I wouldn't know who Neil Patel is. He's like recognized by Obama by to be some like big tech econ guy, and he is. He deserves it. Stay informed. While I said that I love politics in the beginning of this, I never think business and politics should ever mix. But you should be informed about it. An example, I discovered this first. Back in April, this tariff surcharge, some companies were implementing that on their website. A lot of people reposted it on LinkedIn. Ron, he's a cool guy. And I said, this is not going to end well. For private label sellers, they had to deal with this immediately. For us resellers, we had to let the big brand worry about that. It wasn't our problem. That would have been our problem. If Amazon implemented those tariff surcharges as a line item, just as existed here, our president wouldn't have been too happy with that. So if they implemented that, that would have been our problem. Just this weekend, I'm sure you guys saw, Trump threatened a 100% tariff. He just tweeted like JK on like Sunday night. That's how you control for your information. You have to make sure that you're getting value-driven data. You're not getting a bunch of newsletters by every guru in this space who says, yeah, sign up for my newsletter. I give out free consultations or something like that. There's a way to set up your information diet to make sure that you're getting action-packed, value-driven, reliable data. You filter out the noise. There are ways to put in different filters, different alias email addresses for people who are intent on delivering you value versus people who just want your discovery call and get you on a retainer and stuff like that. One last word on networking. It's not when you have time for it. It's a necessary component, an investment in yourself and business. I hope you guys enjoyed it, whatever I had to present for you, because honestly, I view it as a privilege that each and every one of you sitting in this room took the time out and viewing this and afforded me to take up your time. I know that you cannot get that back. And if it hasn't come through in my emotions, building a business is so isolating, could be lonely, and I hate when people just exploit it. So then that's why I started this, and you'll be getting everything I just shared as a response. And no, you won't get it today, because I know today you're going to be inundated with information. There's a little bit of a delay on purpose. Lastly, something that wasn't in the presentation because I just got it walking in. Some of you may know that Amazon has a voice of the customer page. But what you may not know is last week or 2 weeks ago, Amazon started interviewing sellers for the voice of the seller team. And they are willing to pay not only for your travel and accommodation either to New York City or Seattle, but they're willing to host you for about 3 or 4 hours at Amazon's offices and ask you how they can make your experience better. This weekend, I will be more than happy to connect anybody here who wants to tune in or be a part of this Voice of the Seller team that Amazon has going on in their offices. They asked me to promote it. I said, don't you guys have like every seller's email address? They go, yeah, but we lost a lot of trust with sellers. I'm like, no kidding. But I'm willing to give them a shot. And I'm more than willing to connect any of you guys. You'll see it in the next version of my newsletter. And that's just something else that's going on. I'm more than willing. I think I have time for a couple of questions. Feel free to either respond to me by email. Again, I don't have an agency or anything like that. I just sell. Or come up and speak to me afterwards, whichever it may be. So if there are no questions, we're ready to go. Guys, have a great show. Be productive. See you soon.